Hey, how you guys doing? I'm go ahead and get us started while we wait on D-Mac. There he goes, the Pooh Shiesty on. He's in here today with the Pooh Shiesty. What's up, brother?
How's it going? I'm trying to keep my neck warm.
You good?
Yes, yeah, I'm fantastic, man. I had a great evening last night. It's been a very eventful weekend. I'm getting a lot of stuff done. I took my dog in my truck. She didn't know how to act. It was actually really good for her. How's everybody doing? Welcome to our Sunday live town hall. My name is D-Mac Uno.
I'm Wesley.
And this is our live town hall. Thank you all for joining us today. Hope everybody had a great week. We are here to recap the week past. Wesley, it's been a pretty interesting one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's always an interesting one when you got this guy in office that we got in office. That's just my personal opinion. I know our opinion kind of differs at times, but it's always pretty much a very eventful week. Can you hear me pretty good?
I can hear you pretty good. Are you sure? You make sure you're using the right mic. It sounds like the sound's coming through your computer.
It does sound like that, doesn't it? Let me try it one more time.
It's all good. Yeah, so as you're fixing that, I remember, in our past episode, we talked about, Judge Roberts and how he's trying to rein Trump in. And I'm thinking, I think he realized he created a monster and he can say what he wants. But like I've been telling you before, as soon as they don't align with what he wants, they're going to he's going to get rid of them somehow. He's going to make it sure he's just going to ignore the courts. That's what he's starting to do now. The thing that concerns me the most about him ignoring the courts is just those people that disappeared to Venezuela. Everyone thinks, hey, they're gang members, they needed to go. But we don't know their names. You don't know who they are. We don't know anything about these people. I mean, if you were transparent and you were doing like honest stuff, you would actually just, you'd be more transparent with the American people.
Yeah, I think so as well too. I mean, I like I said, does it still sound like it's coming through my mic? Coming through?
No, you're good now. You're good now.
I mean, I think so as well. There's no reason to hide. I had a guy pretty much asking me, he's like, why do you want to know who it is he's taking? I said, because it could be anybody. It could be any one of us that's just transported out of the country. He's asking for unlimited power. Even the judge said so. And so he's like, okay, so if a judge is against me, then they're against the will of the people. Well, if that's the facts, then then the entire Constitution and the whole form of government that we have is against the will of the people. So why don't we just get rid of the Electoral College? Why don't we get rid of that and start doing a majority vote? I mean, if this is the route that we're going to take, why don't we take it that route?
Yeah. And it's nerve-wracking too. I mean, I'm not scared of anything, but this should make everyone nervous because anyone can be rounded up and accused of being in this gang. And then when does it stop? Then because I mean, he already attacks liberals. He already attacks people he doesn't agree with. So he could be like, well, now they're a threat to America. You know what I'm saying? And then they can start rounding people up and everyone's voting. People that, a lot of people, I was reading an article the other day, they're saying a lot of his voters, they want revenge. They want to watch other people suffer. They want to watch other people be in misery. That's their happiness. And I tell a lot of people, I'm like, stop entertaining them with that. Stop going online and crying and complaining about stuff. I mean, X is unusable at this point. There is nothing. I go over there to maybe get clips for, from the news, but in every article, there's nothing but it's just right-wing propaganda.
Yeah, I wouldn't see it as complaining. I think people are it's like if you don't pass news on, people aren't aware. Not everyone, like we look at news on a regular basis, so it's something that we always are doing. But a lot of people do. If you don't pass it along to people in your group, like real news, because right now we get a lot of false news narratives just all the time. I had a person. You remember the case? Not to go away from this, what we're talking about exactly. Remember the case of the two young black boys who were found dead up in the mountains over in
the mountains,
the two twins. Well,
yes.
Well, if you know Delicious, she's a woman who's on Instagram.
She's on Flavor of Love.
Yeah, so she comes out and says, "Oh, well, finally we got justice. Someone was arrested, but it was just a firefighter who came and was a part of the scene of finding the bodies, who took pictures of them. He got arrested for doing the same thing happened with Kobe Bryant case, where the family was able to sue so his family will be able to sue this company, the fire department of that whatever county that was.
He took the pictures and tried to sell them.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So there wasn't justice for but that's just the form of fake news we get. There wasn't real justice for these two boys that have been found dead. They're just finding fake news. So we don't know. Like there was over 200 and something, 250 or so, 60 something people taken to El Salvador. And now he's talking about taking people who burn Teslas to El Salvador. Like, so if you burn a car, now you deserve to be removed from the country For what part? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's like they're calling us domestic terrorists if you don't support Tesla, and then people, and what that's going to do is going to make people not support Tesla more. But I'm saying I'm talking about the people that sit there and cry and whine and complain online. Oh, I can't believe this is happening. Oh, stop whining online. You're entertaining people that don't like you. But they're doing, a lot of people, I've seen people do a lot of things for likes and comments and shares. People will help somebody for 5 likes and they don't care.
I mean, when you look at it, most of these people they're not even really into the subject. People just sometimes need something to complain about. But that goes for both sides, though, because you'll see this other side. To me, I don't even look at them as the right. I mean, I only call you the right under the pretext that you call us the left. That's it, because you're not conservative. You're not any of these things that you're making yourself out to be. You've been, you've been a party of basically spin, spin, spin. You've been the party of no jobs. You've been a party of war. You know what I mean? So I don't look at them as the right. This is the party of MAGA, pretty much. And I don't know what that party. I know that party's pretty much for huge deficits, for taking away programs from people, from all classes of people. I'm not just going to say the poor. This goes for all classes of Americans. You have people who are getting Pell Grants, people who are trying to go to college, and people who are now they want to change. Then they want to take the, basically where you get a college grant from and put it in the SBA.
Everything's good. They're trying to privatize everything.
Everything.
Now you can see the big picture. A lot of Americans, you guys can see that now. They're trying to take everything, privatize it, and then they can charge you whatever, and then only certain people can get it. Everything in America has always been for sale, and now it's going to really be for sale. And people are like, well, this is what the American people voted for. No, this is what less than a quarter of America voted for. And all the people that got to sit out and you didn't vote for some reason, you got to hold yourself accountable. You got to look like, well, I didn't vote for this. Well, too bad. Just because you didn't vote for it, that's what happens. When you don't vote for something, you get what you don't vote for.
And at the same time, there's a huge backlash on the fact that, we don't know Kamala. She doesn't have any real agenda, but she did have an agenda. We looked at a decent agenda for over the last 4 years. I think we allowed ourselves to be told that the economy was so poor. The economy is so bad. Everything was negative, not understanding how the economy runs. Most people don't. So it's easy to sell someone on something like that when they don't even understand how the economy really operates. And so now we've been sold a bag of goods from a guy who comes out and says, well, I was just kind of joking when I said I'd end the war on the first day. I mean, you let a person who basically lies about everything, then admits to lying about everything to you. I was just joking, but we're supposed to believe that and not ask questions about a whole 250 plus people who you just transported out of this country. We're supposed to just trust you. Just trust me. But I admit to lying all the time. You have Elon Musk, a person who could have done his job. He had all the time in the world to do his job. He just wanted to get in there quick and act like he's showing results. It's like a guy who goes and builds something and say, I can build it faster. But are you building it good? Are you doing a good job on what you got going on?
Yeah, you're right. And I apologize for interrupting you. He tried to do it like he did in Twitter. I mean, and Twitter is different. A lot of that stuff you can run it through AI and machines and repetitive equipment, and to make it still functioning. When you get to the government, it's so integral. Like our government is hundreds of years old. I'm saying to a point where it's so integral. There's so much things that go into it. He's firing people just because he's trying to, like you said, trying to show results. But then they had to rehire them all back.
I mean, it's just a massive, it's a huge moving parts. We have to look at, this is in historical context. You look at like when Ross Perot ran for president, he had this is like in 92. So some of you may not even remember that time. Some of you might, but he had a
bumper sticker the other day.
Yeah, he had a really good idea on how to like operate the economy, but had no understanding of the social side of things, how these two things intertwine. It'd be like, okay, if I can put the economy in a good space, but then we run into an economic crisis, we're right back in the Great Depression because you don't have any actual social programs to undergird those programs that might crash or basically when you look at you look capitalism tends to crash the economy. There's always going to be boom and bust in capitalism. That's just how capitalism works. So you have to have undergirding programs to make sure that when that bust happens, people have something that, there's somewhere to pick up the pieces, because at the end of the day, they're making a program right now. There won't be anything to pick up. They're going to take all the pieces. You look at what JP Morgan just put in place here recently, where they came out and they said, what we're going to do? We're going to build huge community. We're going to build huge housing communities, right? But they're going to be called forever rent homes. Pretty much, you'll never be able to buy them. You'll only be able to rent them. And so this is the program that Republicans, this is their program right here. This is the bank. So, they have the backing of, huge venture capital firms. So these are their type of programs. They're good with that. When you look at Kamala, she said, I'm gonna come out and build 3 to 5 million homes within my first 4 years that'll only be able to be bought by, the regular man. This isn't me trying to, go back over the last election, but it's me looking at the results of them. This is the results of where we're at right now. We just lost $5 trillion off the stock market. We're going to lose more once his tariffs actually do end up hitting.
April 2nd is the date.
What do you
the whole thing is, it's easy. It's harder to run off hope for some things that you haven't seen yet. Like, hey, we can maybe do this, especially at a post-COVID. That's what I'm gonna start calling it. It's post-COVID. We live in a different era, and it's easier to run off fear and hate, because that's what's immediately in your face at the time, So he ran his election like he does. He's a great salesman. Well, he may be selling some crap, but I think right now them attacking the judges is an important thing. And I remember we talked about this a while back, and I was like, what's going to happen when the Supreme Court doesn't side with him on something he really wants? You know what I'm saying? And he's doing it now. They're trying to get rid of Judge Roberts. They're like, oh, we should impeach him. We should do this. We should do that.
No, they basically they took it. There's judges who are like U.S. District Court judges, federal judges. They're like, if they go against Trump, he's like, he went to the Supreme Court saying we need to use the impeachment process. Roberts came out, who's the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, came out and said, no, we have a process for this. This is not the way you deal with judges, because basically, if you can do that to them, what's stopping you from doing it to the Supreme Court? So basically, You can just impeach the other 3 members because you're saying they're going against the will of the people. Like, there's 77 million people that voted for you, 75 million that didn't vote for you, another 80-something million that didn't vote at all. What I mean? Like,
it was I think we have 340 million people, or 340 million registered voters in America.
There's 340 million people total in America. 340 million people total.
He got less than half of America voted.
Yeah, less than half of the registered voter.
Less than half of the registered voter.
Basically, like 25%, then another 50% just didn't even come out. But the point of it is, though, the will of the people, it still needs to be legislated at the end of the day. If that's the case, then we could look at it like whoever's in the majority just totally just can run things roughshod through they want to get done, and that's the way it should be. But we understand that that's not what people want. They thought that they wanted, oh, let's remove the immigrants. Okay, but do it the right way. We're not asking you not to. Okay, do it.
Remember, at first it was the illegals and the criminals, and we have no sign that they gotten rid of all the criminals because we don't know who they sent. So let's just be honest here, folks. If there was really 249 Venezuelan gang members, he would have paraded them in front of the cameras right before they got on that plane. Hey, this is blah, blah, blah. He's the gang leader. This is blah, blah, blah. He's a hitman for them. Trump likes to show his trophies, for them just keeping it under wraps. Oh, we just disappeared these people into a jail out of our country that nobody's ever seen.
And paid them $6 million and paid them $6 million. That's what they paid for those 250 people. It probably might have cost more here. Who knows? Probably cost less, but you just paid them $6 million to do this. And we don't know who it is that you have. We have no idea. People are like, hey, well, so you guys don't want gang members out the country? Like, you try to make it into a cut and dry situations. No, we want to know who you are taking. Who are you taking? Because you've already said you want to take American citizens out the country for committing if they commit too many crimes, which you already got 34 felonies. Why aren't you being taken? But okay, well, let's just go from there. But you've already said you want to take people who are, now you're saying you want to take people who burn Teslas. So okay, this is how you feel. Now go through the proper process and get it done that way. We have no problem with you going to get people who are here illegally. Okay, fine. That's what they voted for. That's what you were elected on. Go do your job, but do it the right way.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, like I keep saying, man, we're gonna feel the effects during the summer, because right now it's the boot on your neck, right? And there's people are trying to get up from under that. And I want to see how much the people can take, because the summer is going to be a breaking point for people. It's been too much change. I've been talking to social workers, a lot of funding that has been cut. I've been seeing it a lot from the housing. A lot of people are unsure about their jobs. A lot of people like doctors, dentists, that work for the poor. Basically, they're like, yeah, we don't know. It's a day-by-day thing. We don't know what Doge is doing. I talked to one lady. She was like, yeah, Doge took all our funding. Section 8 is gone. She's like, I have to go we have to go calculate and see how many employees we can keep and how many we cannot. And these are people that help homeless people get off the streets, get clean, and then work them back into society. This is their whole program, and all the funding was cut for that. You know what I'm saying? So
aren't these people just talking about how they why are we helping Ukraine? We have a bunch of homeless here, but now they take money away from these programs. It's like they play you guys, but I can't even say they're playing you because you're happy to be involved in whatever you're involved in. It's like you have not shown any like, okay, maybe this shouldn't happen this way. They're getting rid of all these jobs at the VA, and a lot of people in all this. So basically, VA will run much slower than whatever it runs now. It's going to be first off, and and also most people who work at the VA are veterans. So you're getting rid of thousands of veterans jobs. A lot of people who work in government are veterans. You guys are not. I mean, we all know, like it's not a lot of times they may not learn a lot of other skills other than working inside of in the military. So once you get out of the military, it's a lot easier for you to go get government jobs. So you basically relegated your brothers and sisters who are in the military with you to not having any work at all. This is kind of what you've done. And so it's just, to me, it's crazy to sit back and think about that. I mean, people don't really care.
No, they don't. The greatest, my bad to interrupt you. No, I always say this line. The greatest line I've seen is from The Dark Knight. He's like, some men can't be bargained with. Some men can't be reasoned with. Some men just want to watch the world burn. And and we have to really reflect that, a lot of people, they want to see destruction. They want to see you crying in the streets. They want to see you fail and, everything that you do just fall apart. And, they want to watch people starve and suffer because they hate themselves. Yeah, and people that don't like themselves, they want everyone else down on their level. You know what I'm saying? So they can feel good about it. That's like that person that's at the club and they're sitting there and they're pointing at people, making fun of other people because they're not happy. They don't want to be there because nobody's giving them attention. So they want to bring everybody down to their level. And that's what we have right now.
And thank you for popping in with us, Sarah, as well. But you're right. But the fact of the matter is, this is going to have to play out. You know what I mean? This is going to actually have to play out for these people to actually see that they played themselves, like Sarah said, because it's not happening. They're not seeing it right now. Right now, they're getting all the, the bravado and bluster. They can pump their chest up and say, oh yeah, we did this. I mean, look at your, liberal tears, all that weird stuff that they like to say. It's crazy. But wait till those programs start. Like right now, they put a freeze on Section 8. They put a free, no new people can get that. And I know people are like, oh, why do you guys care about that? To me, it won't affect me personally at all. Yeah. So, and that's fine, but at the same time, it's going to affect a lot of other people, and it's going to be a trickling. It's going to be like basically like a snowball effect on top of people. At the same time, wait till next year when they start seeing a lot of these programs. They're going to try to cut another $880 billion out of Medicaid, Medicare, other programs, Social Security. They're trying to cut food programs by hundreds of billions of dollars. Wait till that stuff starts. Yeah. Wait till
people don't understand how many. Yeah, go ahead. Or people don't understand how many people use food banks in America. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand, like SNAPs. Okay, so let's look at it. People they focus on the people that, steal from the system and are shysty about it, right? A lot of those people get caught. So let's keep it honest. And we wouldn't need food stamps in America if we all came together and we actually had, people get paid enough money to not need food stamps. If people got paid enough money not to need Section 8, we wouldn't need these programs. But we do, because we're run by rich folks who want to be richer. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why we have so much poverty in America. And instead of them addressing poverty, they're like, we're just going to cut you off, because that's what they want. They want the seniors to die off because they're not working. They're just taking Social Security money. They want the poor kids to die off because they feel they're just a burden on the economy. No, we shouldn't be ruled by rich folks, but this is what it is.
And at the same time, we have to look at it like there's fraud in everything that we do in life. We're a 30-something $1 trillion economy. You're going to have like point something of fraud. It's going to happen. I'm not saying we should not look to counteract that. Of course, we always should. We should always look to perfect whatever we have going on, anything. But it's going to happen. I mean, people can go and look in their workplace. I guarantee you probably all know somebody who takes something from the job, whether it's staplers or whether it's, whatever the case may be, whatever, it could be toilet, whatever it is. Yeah. You see it at your own personal job. And so your job cannot control what their little, whatever, $1 million, $2 million, $5 million business that they have running right there. They can't even control that. So imagine what a huge, the government of moving parts will be able to control or not control. So we have to understand those things are going to happen. It's not a perfect science, but it works for our country. What we don't have is people who are living, who are starving. We don't have that as much as we could have it. We've seen it before. You know, during the Great Depression, not in our lifetime, but we want to revert. It's like we want to revert back to those things. We're talking about self accountability, but at some point in time, we have to look at the government as a reflection of who we are as people too. We have to look at like what do we care about as people? Do we care, or do we care about each other, or do we care about a plan by guys who have way more money than all of us? Which I don't begrudge them for having more money than all of us, but this is their plan to make sure they live better and basically on the backs of us. And so I don't understand.
You can only live as good as your security can protect you when it comes down to it. You know, and a lot of people, you know, they always say it's a dog eat dog world. And I think we have to start looking at it like that. Like, I can care about my peoples, but I can't care about strangers right now. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. It's, you know, Ellen Muskie said the same thing. She was like, the problem with Western civilization is we have empathy. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense, because we care about other people, because we know that if we care about the people in our community, it makes our community better. You know what I'm saying? It makes it safer in our communities. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you. Go off of what you just said. You only are as safe as what'd you say again?
That your money can protect you.
So now go off of that. Now basically we're saying, hey, we want to keep ourselves safe on our level as well too, because at the end of the day, if you don't feed these people, we don't give these people something, they're going to be at our doors. They're not going to be at a person who has. So go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but
you're absolutely right. I mean, soon we're going to have to go after the rich people. You know what I'm saying? You can have your security, but you know, when people have no jobs and they're hungry, you got a lot of time and anger on your hands. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to get out and go look for it. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not going to make our community safer. Because think about it, I've said it before, if you lose your job and, you know, you don't have nothing going for you, you know, you're just going to go out there and commit crimes. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be hungry. You're going to do a lot of things you didn't think you would do. Hold on. My bad. I don't think I have the audio on the TikTok. Let me add that.
I mean, yeah, but like I say, man, to me, like you said, you're going to go do things you don't normally do.
Yeah, you don't normally. I mean, I tell people, I was telling somebody that this weekend. I was like, you know, or I think I was telling my coworkers, I was like, the reason you see all these odd crimes and people doing weird stuff is because a lot of people that are hooked on fentanyl, they didn't grow up with families that were on drugs. They grew up in like beautiful households. They had great lives, little middle class lives, and then they got hooked on drugs. They were intelligent people. They were lawyers. They were doctors. They were clerks. They were people that worked at your county. They just got hooked on drugs. So they're intelligent people. They're just drug addicts. So they think of different ways to steal things. Think about it. Are they still stealing Cadillac converters?
I mean, I would assume that they're going to be. They're going to probably steal whatever they can steal at this point in time. That's why, like I say, this is why we have to look at this, even the policing jobs that we have to look at around the crime numbers. Like we know what crime numbers really are. Like you said, you go to rural towns, they got bars on the windows at their local their convenience stores. So what does that tell you? That there's a lot of crime there. You know, like you go to certain either small places where they got everything locked up inside of cases. You know, that says that there's a lot where we live at, and where we live at, there's only 7% probably people of color, like black people where we live. So it speaks volumes about what crimes are really going on. There's a lot of crime happening, but it's just not being reported.
And there's no way to bounce back anymore. And you know, it's crazy. They're attacking people that get snaps, you know, food stamps or whatever, right? And I can understand, you know, RFK, he may seem a little crazy. Some of the things, but I mean, I understand. He's like, hey, you shouldn't be buying soda and chips with this. I'm like, yeah, you know, because I had received food stamps when my children were young. You know what I'm saying? I got custody of them. I'm trying to figure it out because I had to take them out of a horrible place they were in. And so, you know, they gave me like, you know, $400 a month in food stamps. And I'm like, okay, how do I want to do this? I did buy chicken nuggets, but I also bought potatoes to make my own fries. You know what I'm saying? I bought flour, I bought eggs, and we sat there and I taught my kids how to cook. Because it would make my food stamps last longer. And then, you know what I'm saying, it's better off for us just to cook our meals. I can understand, like, you shouldn't be buying fucking soda with your food stamps, but what's wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? It's not nutrition. But
look at the grocery stores that we have in our country. We got to be truthful with ourselves. And everyone in general, even people who are just on food. I'm not saying that we should be removing soda off the shelves anyways, because that's just a fact. However, you look at in the middle of your grocery store, that's the biggest part of your grocery store. That's where everything that's processed is at. They say you should shop around the outsides of the grocery store for a reason, because that's where all the nutritional things are. But do you think that if everyone did that, we'd have enough? We would run out of food in no time. You know, I mean, we really don't have a food secure society that we live in. We just think we do.
Well, I
We
mean,
really don't.
if people stopped and ate healthy, like for me nowadays, like I can go
Talk
to the
too
grocery
much.
store and I can spend $100 on, like you said, everything that's in between the aisles. But what I've been doing, I have, we cook our meat, we have leftovers. What I do is I just buy veggies and fruit every week. You know what I'm saying? I get a head of lettuce, I get some broccoli, I get some carrots, I buy a couple mandarins, some grapes, bananas, and mangoes. You know what I'm saying? And it's like $25 for all this stuff. Now, if you're in the middle of the store buying box stuff that you can make at home, you're going to spend hundreds of dollars at the grocery store. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this question. I know it may be a little bit off topic too, but what did you think about when they came out with the Derek Chauvin thing? What did you think about that?
Oh, I was
The
very
officer. Let me give context really quick before I let you answer. Basically, Ben Shapiro, who's a right wing talk show kind of guy, came out and said that they should free Derek Chauvin. Derek Chauvin is the officer who was convicted of killing George Floyd in Minnesota back in, I think it was 2020. I think that's when that happened, which set off all that whole summer
the largest
protest
protest in American history.
Yeah, I mean, it was protests around the world for this. Actually, this was during COVID, so everyone was kind of cooped up in the house. They made all kind of Black Lives Matter streets, all kinds of stuff happened because of even the NBA kind of played into this and got into this whole thing as well. Put the basketball courts as that. But now Derek Chauvin, he tweeted this out that they should look at freeing Derek Chauvin, even though he has a state sentence, then he has a federal sentence. They were looking at kind of cutting off the federal sentence, pardoning him for that federal sentence. Elon Musk then comes out and retweets, says, "Oh, this is something that we need to look into." So what do you think about?
So, for instance, the guy on the New York train that choked the black dude out, that's what they want. So when I saw that, I said, "Go ahead and let him out and see what happens. See what happens." You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't even have to be angry no more, dude. I'm crazy in the head. You know what I'm saying? Like, as many black people have I've seen and known. I mean, I've been a victim of fucking police brutality just for walking down the street. My face is deformed from that shit.
I've been a victim of it as well myself.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like this. If I watched George Floyd cry for his mama, bro, that's what got me the most. That screech in his voice when he screamed mama, mama. We watched a man get lynched on TV and you want to let his killer out the jail and you think we're just gonna take it. Nah, bro. And the thing that made me pissed off about the George Floyd protests is that we let other groups get in there and tell us how we should protest and how we should stay calm and all that shit. Nah, we should have burned this motherfucker down. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're like, "Oh, get out of America." You should have burned it down. Everything. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole thing for me, I'm like this, dude. If I can't live in peace, why do I have to sit here and let everybody else live in peace and be calm with it? America has sat here and stepped over us constantly for other groups and other norms. And then the new administration, they're sitting there like, "Oh, we should let him out of jail. Go ahead and let him out of jail. Let him out of jail. You're going to see what's really going to happen because everybody's going to be Derek Chavez." You know what I'm saying? And I'm not threatening nobody. I'm just going to let you know what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Because
you're speaking your piece. I mean, it's not about a threat. It's about speaking your piece and speaking your mind, because this is a fact. To me, it kind of just spells out who they are. We have to continue to see. I think people have to continuously see who these people really are. This is who they are. They're showing you who they are. They're showing you what's going on with them. Hey, they would even mention something like this tells you a lot more about, this is their agenda. Their agenda has nothing to do. It's not about, it's not about economic, security for people. It's not about uplifting or getting rid of migrants. It's about superiority. When it comes down to it, this is what this whole entire agenda is about. You don't talk about releasing someone that killed another. I mean, a police officer, police officers have a lot more power. They have a lot more leeway than the average citizen, which they should, and because that's the law. However, when it gets to the point to where they abuse that power and they kill somebody, and it's done in such a malicious way, he's sitting there looking at the cameras while this dude's saying he got two other officers on this dude's back. His hands are handcuffed. He's not struggling. At this point in time, you could have got off that man, let him breathe, whatever the case may be, but you chose not to. You chose to lean there with your knee on his neck and show the world that you don't care. You can record me. Go ahead, record me. Laugh and smile about it. No, now that you got this time, they're talking about pardoning you. It's just crazy to me. And now you want to say, "Oh, he died from a fentanyl overdose. This is what happened here. There's this evidence of this, evidence of that." Then why wouldn't if that were the case, then he should have a good appeal. Let him go ahead and appeal it and figure it out.
The reason people downplay a lot of those situations and they won't even just be like, "Yeah, I think he deserved to die. I didn't like him because he was black." You know what I'm saying? I don't. The reason people try to downplay, like Elon Musk threw up a Nazi sign, with his hand. Steve Bannon came and did it 2 weeks later. You know what I'm saying? Another gentleman, he got fired from his job because he did it. But oh no, he was just waving. Da, da, da. The reason they won't say, yeah, he was throwing up Nazi signs, and I agree with that, is because they still want to commune in our circles. Because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, you can be whichever party you want to be, but nobody want to hang out with right wingers all day. Nobody wants to, there's only so much hate you can take. You know what I'm saying? But I wish people were just, I like it now. They're open with it, They're like, hey, this is our agenda. We're running off, we're gonna run this country off white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? And everyone that has a downplay, I kind of look at them funny, like, you know what? You're a shiesty person too. You know what I'm saying? Because you voted for this, you need to be down for it. This is what you wanted. This is what it is. Our country is back to being run off white supremacy. As you see, they keep removing our history. You know what I'm saying? Like, just for no reason.
Look at Jackie Robinson.
He's like, fine, go ahead, take our history. We'll just make more history. You know what I'm saying? You can't stop us. You tried.
Yeah, I think when we go moving forward, man, it's not about taking or asking or pleading, because the reason why they're even doing what they're doing right now, and the reason why the world is heading in this direction, is because it's becoming the end of the end of an era for them. This is the end of a power structure. Everything runs in cycles. There were cycles to where the Moors ran all of Europe. These are Africans, Black Africans. You know what I mean? From the from the continent of Africa, different. And they went into Europe and they ran Europe. It happened. It was for like 800 years. They ran Europe. They're still similar to them now. And so these are just cycles. They're running into a place right now where their cycle is ending and they don't know what else to do. That's why they want to get rid of any kind of women's rights to choose. That's why they want to get as many what they call migrants out of this country as possible, even though it hurts the country overall, hurts the country. When you have a declining population, everyone knows that. That's why they want to start talking about, oh, let's get rid of history. Let's get rid not only just history. Let's figure out a way to get more people out of the country. So if you commit a crime, let's ship you off to El Salvador. Let's do something like that.
I read something the other day where they were saying, like, I think it was charter schools, or private, like Christian schools in the South. They teach that slaves were immigrants. They're saying the African Americans here,
immigrants,
some they were immigrants, but some didn't come willingly. You know what I'm saying? They're like they're whitewashing it. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're teaching the kids, and they're going to send them out into the world to do that. And so, it's just it's the fear of when, like I've been always saying, if you've been running the world for hundreds of years, right? And no matter where you went, you just had your neck or your knee on the back of everyone's neck, and now you see that structure collapsing. Think about it. The BRICS is formed. The BRICS nations have all the resources. Let's just keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the natural resources can be found in these countries. They can live by themselves. If I've been running the whole world for hundreds of years and now that power is fading, I'd rather burn it all down than let it go. Because you got to look at it like, who are these people without power? You know what I'm saying? What is their mindset and their attitude without power? Just a bunch of crazy people, you know what I'm saying, that are violent and want to see shit happen to other people because it makes them happy. So yeah, they're going to burn the whole place down. Look at all the regulations that are gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's when the water's going to be more poison, your house's structures are going to collapse more, saying for the mighty dollar. But so what's going to happen is they want the few. I read an article about that. They want it so, like, when their population does dwindle all the way down, they'll still be in control of everything.
That's why they took the Supreme Court the way they did. We don't look at things from the perspective that we should. We don't look at why it was important to have voted for Hillary Clinton. We just looked at her like, oh, we don't want to vote for Hillary, or we don't want to vote for her, or whatever the case may be. We didn't understand that they just got 3 new Supreme Court justices, and these people are in their 40s, 50s, some maybe in their 60s years. They're going to be here for the next 20, 30, 40 years. Sitting on the bench.
You know what? The way he's going at Judge Roberts, you know what I'm saying? Like, he is not happy.
He didn't necessarily go at Roberts. He went at it was like Boasberg. He went at a U.S. district judge. That's what it really was. Roberts is the one who came out and said, we're not going to impeach him. We're not going to go through that process. His next thing he's going to do, if Roberts keeps on opposing him, because you looked at what he did with Amy Coney Barrett when he kind of just. Yeah, he just ignored her. He didn't even shake her hand or anything because he was mad because her and Roberts went against his decision. I forget what that decision was exactly, that 5-4 decision that they just came out with. I think it was for USAID. That's what it was. They made a 5-4 decision. They decided with the 3 more liberal justices on the bench, two more conservative justices on the bench, sided with the more liberal side to say, yes, we have to pay out the money for USAID. You can't just freeze the money and not pay contractors and not pay people who you think that shouldn't be paid or whatever the case may be. And so if they do that more often, I guarantee he's going to come after Roberts directly. He has to.
Well, he made a post. on True Social. It's like he said, it is our goal to make America great again. And such a high aspiration can never be done if radical and highly partisan judges are allowed to stand in the way of justice. If Justice Roberts and the United States Supreme Court do not fix this toxic and unprecedented situation immediately, our country is in very serious trouble. I mean, he called him out
by name.
That's what, and remember, I talked about that too. I said, look, they think the Supreme Court feels like they can rein them in because the Supreme Court feels like they're above everybody in the country. Let's just keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? Because they rule in law. So they thought they could rein them in. But I was like, what's going to happen as soon as something doesn't go his way? Just like what's going to happen if somebody pisses him off? They're talking. Look at to your terrorists. If you do something, if you don't like a Tesla, if you protest Tesla, you're a domestic terrorist.
Yep. He basically said it's illegal to basically protest Tesla. That's what he said. He can't. His words don't. They don't make law. However, it does provide a basis behind what happens next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Behind what his sycophants kind of feel and what they want to do. And so that's an important thing that we have to really look at as well. I think that, I think the Columbia University is important. The Columbia University ruling, how they came out and took $400 million from them, because they say the Department of Education, most of the budget for that education goes to colleges, goes for higher education. And if you look at what his numbers were, when you look at non-college educated white men, it was like 40 something. He was like plus 40 something. Non-educated, white females, he was like, I can't remember the exact number. I can look it up though, but he was a higher number on that as well too. When it came to non-educated people, because college doesn't mean you're educated or not. It just means that you actually stepped in and went on for higher learning. So that's why he's attacking these institutions, because he knows educated people don't support you. People who actually are learned, who actually have took the time to actually look into the issues, don't support what you're saying. So that's why he's attacking these people. It's not because he doesn't care about. It's not because he does want to get rid of the Department of Education. I think that's a huge thing for him as well. I'm not sure why. I think Department of Education does not make curriculum. They're not the ones who's telling your state what not in my personal opinion. They should tell states, hey, this is what we expect from you. These are the standards that we want you to attain. If you cannot attain these standards, then we're going to pull back some of our funding. I think they should do that.
Yeah, they did that in the name of Israel. Let's keep that 1,000. That's all that is.
Absolutely.
Yep. That's a lot of this. That's why, even right now you see them attacking in Yemen, right? They're bombing Yemen. You're like, why are you bombing Yemen? That has nothing to do with us. That's so Israel can get their ships over there and get supplies so they can, continue committing a genocide, or as I like to call it, the Gaza cost. And so that's just what it is. Like, people don't really understand what kind of money and foreign nation is running our country. I don't want to get too deep into it because
there's no reason not to. There's no reason not to. You should talk about it.
When me and Wes first started doing this, just from doing the research and being journalists, you kind of really realize who runs our country, why things are the way they are, why Hollywood is allowed to run pedophile rings, and that's one thing I was talking about before. We can get into that. Corey, I think it's Corey Feldman's the only Corey that's still alive from the two Corys. He came out and he named names. He was like, this person molests children. This person doesn't. This person doesn't.
Do you remember? I think he was on The View or one of those shows with Barbara Walters was on there. You remember she said, why would you want to tell these things? Well, you're going to hurt people.
Yeah.
You remember that? She said that during the show. And I couldn't believe that she said that. I'm like, are you serious?
These people are protected. Like, you think Harvey Weinstein, the thing about him is he sexually assaulted actresses. You know what I'm saying? And some women, they had sex with him. Some women were forced to do it. But the thing is, these other people
Kurt
are going
Cobain's wife. Kurt Cobain's ex-wife.
Yes.
What was her name? Remember she came out and she said that about
like, what advice do you have for people in Hollywood? And she was like, if what's his name invites you up to his hotel room to read a script, don't go. Harvey Weinstein. And the thing is, they want to. I was watching TV. Oh, excuse me, I got a little dizzy. I was watching TV the other day, and I saw a Weinstein movie pop up. They're never pulling that stuff up. But we don't talk.
Two brothers.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but somebody else. And that's one thing. They were supposed to release the Epstein files, right? And there's a reason they didn't release them. The JFK files came out, and they can't release the Epstein client list because who's on it.
I wouldn't even want. You don't even have to give me the client list. Just give it the whole file on what you have on this dude. Put that all out there. It's because the president's on there.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. This is just my opinion.
There's a couple
I
of
think
presidents on there.
I mean,
Bill Gates is
probably
on
Bill
there.
Clinton. Probably Clinton as well.
Yeah,
Who
Clinton's
knows?
on there. Bill Gates is on there.
you know,
They asked Bill Gates' wife. Bill Gates' wife was like, I met Jeffrey Epstein. He took me to meet him. And he's like, and I didn't even like his attitude, his aura. Then the news lady asked her something else about her, Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein. She was like, you're gonna have to ask Bill about that. You know?
Yep. Do you think that's why she divorced him? Or do you think it has something to do with
no, it was it was kind of on the cusp of it. It was one of the reasons. I mean, what's his name? Who was the guy? I can't remember his name. He was in the wheelchair. And he was like a scientist dude, but he was like handicapped.
Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, Stephen Hawkins. He was constantly there. These people are they like to fuck little. They like to fuck little kids.
I mean,
Jesus
Christ,
I mean, Jesus Christ, what, bro? Like, I mean,
I hear you say, you know what I mean.
I mean, people. I don't want to sugarcoat nothing in the world for people. I don't sugarcoat nothing for my kids because I know what kind of world I live in. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think you should sugarcoat it at all. I think this is exactly what needs to be said. What you're saying is exactly what needs to be said. I think it needs to be we need to package it up and put it in a context that everyone and make it clear. This is why he has all access to do. Every president has. Obama's had the access to being able to release his client files because I think what's his name? Epstein was he was hit for a crime in like 08 or 09. I mean, he was actually convicted of like some type of like
they gave him like a small little sentence or whatever,
and then they let him out. Then they pardoned him and let him off because
you got to it's great. The thing that trips me out is that when they were supposed to have his court case, they sent a hitman to go kill the judge. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they couldn't. And the hitman got there. The judge wasn't there, so he killed the husband and her son. You know what I'm saying? Like
that was
for Epstein's case. That shows crazy. You that's the power.
But they say that. I mean, I know we're getting off, but they say that some of this has a lot to do with, again, Israel.
Yeah,
I mean, he was basically working for the Mossad in Israel, blah blah blah, blah along those whole lines. So that's something there
was a hallway from supposedly there was a hallway from his house to the nearest synagogue.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like Candace Owens has been speaking out about this a lot lately. She's really on this heavy.
Yeah.
Like heavy though. I mean, to the point to where she every clip I see about her, she's talking. Yeah, it's because she worked for Ben Shapiro. Yeah. Ben Shapiro, the same guy we just talked about earlier. He's the one who runs. I can't remember the name of I think it might Newsmax something. I don't know what it is. I can't remember exactly the company that he runs. But she worked for him. Spoke out about what's going on in Gaza, like we've been speaking out about for quite a while. Fired, and so. I mean, again, just back to the entire.
Yeah. So what happened was she brought it up because there was this guy that he's a rabbi, right? But he's behind the scenes. You don't really see him. Sometimes they'll put him on the news sometimes, but he's the one that he goes around and he threatens people. He's like, yo, you do this, I'll destroy your whole life. I'll take everything from you. You know what I'm saying? We'll like think about TMZ is run by Harvey and he's whatever he is. But as soon as Kanye came out, and what Kanye West said, people, and I want everyone to understand, it's like the news will show you, Kanye West is selling swastikas. He's wearing swastikas. Oh my gosh, he's anti-Semitic. Da 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 da. No, what Kanye says, he's like, our music industry is owned by people of Jewish faith, right? And Kanye West is saying basically, they funnel all this negative stuff into the black community. And Kanye was like, well, I want to normalize swastikas. I want to normalize Nazism, because if you're going to normalize black people killing black people and putting it on the radio and in music and in our communities, then I want to normalize Nazism.
I feel like, man, they're going to end up knocking him off. I mean, and they're going to and it's going to seem like it's just something that
they can't. He'll become a legend.
That's all. I mean, once you're still gone though. It's fine, but once you're gone, you're gone. All your ideas, most of your ideas are gone. Most of your, your rhetoric is out the way. I mean, and if something were to happen and he were he would just pass away all of a sudden, who would say something like, oh, we might bring it up for a minute, but you never know. The dude's probably is on it. In our minds, we would think like, we would look at it like he does drugs, whatever the case may be. It will be played off as something else because he just has so much different kind of like wild kind of antics that he's doing on a consistent basis.
I mean, think about it like this, right? If they can catch you before you get well known, they can off you, right? But they killed Martin Luther King, right? And what happened? He got his own day. He got streets named after him. He studied in school. Saying Malcolm X, same way. It's easier nowadays. They know it's if you kill him, you make him a martyr. You know what I'm saying? You don't want that. If you kill Kanye West, they will study him for years. Look at we still hold 26-year-old Tupac Shakur in high regards, and he died in 1996. Yeah. What they have to do is they have to destroy the credibility of your name. They have to make it so bad for you that, because what did Dave Chappelle said? He's like, you can never be unfamous. He said you can be infamous, but you can never be unfamous. If they were to assassinate Kanye West right now, he would die in legendary status. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. I agree. 110%. You know what I mean? Like I say, like right now, man, we're in a very, like they're getting rid of FEMA. They're trying to tear that down. They're trying to get rid of the NOAA, you know, which is a National Oceanic and was atmospheric.
They watch the weather. You know, and it's the Midwest is getting hit right now. They first had all those tornadoes. Now they're having a windstorm. We're about to have 3 volcanoes erupt this year on the West Coast. You know, Alaska, one between Idaho and Washington, and one off the coast of Oregon. They said, and it's going to happen. They said these are active. They said they tested it and they're going to go off. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get hit with our big one. And so they want to send it to the states, but some states just, I mean, yeah, the states are going to do it.
It's crazy, man. There's no, okay. You send FEMA back to the states. I mean, what would they say how much it's going to cost? Hundreds of billions of dollars to fix California? Hundreds of billions of dollars. You know what I mean? Then you just had the fires in Oklahoma. You had fires in South Carolina. You got flooding every year happening in Texas, every year in Florida. This is from hurricanes. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy to me to even think that.
It looks, my bad to cut you off. It's not like they're trying to, you know, give the states more rights. They're looking at how much money they can funnel back into their pockets. Then they say, give it to you as the gust of, hey, we're saving you guys all this money. That's like, you know, hey, if you buy this insurance, right, you can save $230 in a year. You know what I'm saying? It's just how much they can pocket all this money.
They're really trying to, I forget what it's called, reconciliation. This is what they're trying to do to get this tax bill put through. If they can say that I've gotten rid of this many jobs, you know, I've gotten rid of this much, you know, this much, we're not going to spend this much on FEMA. Reconciliation basically is a process to where they can say, okay, if I can pass a budget with all these tax cuts and I can do it on a straight up and down vote, which I don't need a super majority in the Senate. I don't need 60 votes in the Senate, and I can do it with a straight up and down vote in the House, which that's always normal. But in the Senate, if you want to pass something through the Senate, you have to get a 60 plus filibuster proof majority to be able to pass something that's going to make the deficit blow up or even go up at all. But then what they do is they say, okay, we can reconcile this and say that with future savings, this budget will make sense. It'll basically be a net even to the economy. And so that's what they're trying to do by getting rid of all these jobs. This guy named John Bryant came out and said that even with them laying off 40,000, 60,000 workers in the federal government, he said that's one day of interest payments on the debt. One day for the people, all the people who they laid off, it's one day of interest payments, not even like actually paying the debt down. One day of interest payments. He's basically telling you this. They're showing you it's a dog and pony show or horse, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really. They're not doing anything that's helping the economy. If you take that much money out of the economy so people can't buy things, it's hurting more people like me and you, working class people in this in America than it's helping.
That's the plan. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can say, hey, we're saving you all this money. You ain't saving nothing. Oh, we're going to give you $5,000. No, you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like if you wanted to give the American people $5,000, they could have sent them checks last week with his name on it. Yeah, let's keep it 1,000.
I mean, and if they want to give people $5,000, they're going to have to cut, I think it's like $500 billion, out of the economy somewhere. They're going to have to do something. There's going to have to be some kind of restructuring, but I don't see it happening.
Our economy, it was working. The thing that wasn't working is the greed of top CEOs who are going in for profit. Think about it. Like I always say, when you go to a grocery store, you don't see that many people in there working. When you go to a fast food restaurant, there's 3 people in there. There's a person taking your money, somebody cooking, and somebody cleaning. You know what I'm saying? They're doing a lot with less, and they know that. And they're making money hand over fist, and they don't want to give it back to you, but they're going to raise the price on you. And you're going to either take it or you don't. If you stop eating somewhere, if you stop eating at a restaurant, you know what the restaurant's going to do? They're going to run ads. They'll be like, hey, we got this price here. This is lower. This is cheaper. You stop shopping somewhere, they're going to take the prices down. As long as you take the abuse they're doing to you, they'll keep doing it to you. Like people are like, hey, we're going to do a day where we don't shop at Target. I'm like, no, do a month. Hey, we're gonna do a day where we don't go get gas. No, do a month. What's that day if you don't get gas, but you go get gas the next day? It depletes the whole purpose. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna boycott something, boycott it to the fullest. I mean, look at even Target. The people stop going to Target. Target lost $1 billion in profit.
Yeah,
$1 billion. You know, that's a lot.
I mean, it's huge. It's a huge amount. I mean, like I say, to run a boy, like you said, it's going to take a while. It's a continuous process of doing something. If you really want to hurt some, especially a huge corporation like that, it's not going to be, a month, 2 months, or whatever the case. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a year. That's what they did down like when you look at, the boycotts they had in Birmingham and all those places like that, those bus boycotts they had, they did it for long periods of time where it came to the point to where they wanted to pretty much make you do it. This is why Trump is going through what he's going through with Tesla. He wants to make you buy a Tesla. Really, if he could make people do it, he would make people do it. He's trying to push all of his people to doing it. I mean, but it's not really working.
I don't want no Tesla. How do you feel? I don't know if you saw this earlier. I don't want to misspeak on it. It was about AOC. Okay. And she went, there was a town hall. Republican was supposed to have a town hall and he didn't show up for his constituents. And so her and Bernie Sanders pulled up like, yo, what's happening? And sat there and talked to the people. Have you been seeing the movement she's doing? And I remember I told you years ago, Mr. Wesley, I was like, I think AOC is going to run for president. And you're like, nah, she's not going to do it. I'm like, she's the only fiery one that they have. And it's sad because, Chuck Schumer, he buckled under the pressure, but I understand what he was doing. They're asking him to go, but her and Bernie Sanders, that might be a proper ticket.
I mean, I just feel like with the way people are set up, man, I think people are against having a woman run for president. That's one thing. I think they're just,
America will never be ready for that. Yeah.
I don't say never, but I mean, like, it's just weird, but I don't know why it doesn't make sense. Maybe in our lifetime, maybe we still got some years to go. We still got a little bit of time.
I mean, they said that we never have a black president, and
in our lifetime, exactly. In our time life.
I think we got, my bad. Let me say, we ended up with it got so bad we had to get a black president. We we got to switch this up. This ain't working. It was bad. He was a good war.
He was a good president. He was a good speaker, a good person at the right time. That's what I say. I won't say a good proud. He was the right person at the right time. It could have been it could have been anybody. If Hillary would have won, she would have probably won. She would have probably won. More than likely, it was like the perfect conditions for him to win the presidency and for him to be, who he was at the time to win it. If it would have been a good economy, ain't no way in hell he's winning the president. Even though he was a better candidate, he was a much better candidate than John McCain. Way better, 10 times.
Hillary could have won. And remember, the FBI director Comey came out like 4 days before the election, and he was like, "Yep, we're investigating Hillary Clinton's emails."
She wasn't winning regardless, man. People, she just wasn't. She couldn't even beat Obama, and he wasn't even, back in 2008. So, and then they cleared the field for her. They got rid of Joe Biden. They made him not run for president. They were like, "Hey, Joe," even though he was next in line, it was his turn. It was his turn to go.
He would have won. Joe. We would have 8 years of man. We would have been. Joe would have won. Great place.
Joe would have won. What I mean? Definitely. But it was a deal being made behind closed doors. This was what happened, because Hillary wasn't going to concede to Obama during the 2008 years, because it could have went to the I think the super delegates could have went all the way to the convention, but she stepped away and conceded, and then he ended up giving her the Secretary of State's job. And the reason she probably even took it was the fact of, hey, tell Joe, he can't run it, and I'll basically give you the glass. It was the glass ceiling. Breaking through the glass. All the women who were like supported her. She had a huge support system. So that was like kind of her handing over her voters to Obama. And so they just basically told Joe not to. It was really, Obama and that whole, I can't remember who, Axelrod was the name of his campaign manager. They kind of fucked over the Democratic Party for after Obama was out of office for a while. I think we got it back. I mean, COVID brought it back. And just the mishandling of that and just the utter incompetence of Trump brought it back for 4 years. But after that, they should have let Kamala kind of have a free reign on saying what she needed to say to get elected, not saying lying about it, but actually saying the things that are wrong within the administration, talking about, hey, we were wrong for allowing Israel to just bomb and kill and maim people over in Gaza. Hey, we should have focused more on inflation, on food prices. We should have focused better on that. They should have let her speak about that, and they didn't do that. And I think that's what kind of led to where we are right now.
Well, the Democratic Party, I mean, the people that follow the Democratic Party, they want that perfect candidate. And, and the other side, they just want power. They don't care who it is. Remember, they had the guy in Alabama. He was a known child stalker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They were like, oh, we're going to get you in there anyways. We want you in there anyways because we need that seat. We need that vote. You know what I'm saying? And you want the perfect, and look what happens. You didn't get the perfect candidate. And now I hear people, they'll say, oh, the lesser of two evils. Well, I mean, is this
he was a Republican, though? That dude was a Republican.
Yeah, he was a Republican. Alabama. Oh, yeah, totally.
I mean, and it flipped the state to a Democrat for like, because it was a special election or something like that. Yeah. I don't think it was a full 6. It might have been 6 years, though. I can't remember if he got 6 years out of it. Then right after that, he was out of there. After them 6 years was over or whatever time frame he had in there, they got him up out of there. Like, oh yeah, Democrat, we don't want you over here, buddy. You might as well vote for everything.
They try to get my bad catch up. They try to get Herschel Walker in there. He's like, hey, how y'all doing? I'm just over here eating the wrapper of the candy bar, because it tastes better than the candy bar. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he can barely speak, bro. He's like, but they're like, we're gonna, because they want it's a difference. Some people, they want the power. You know what I'm saying? Vote for your power. Stop. There's never going to be a perfect person. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody is perfect. The word perfect is like the worst word you can use. You know what I'm saying? Like, because perfect means right there and right then. I mean, maybe something can be perfect there, but nothing's ever going to be perfect in your life.
Democrats are going to have to come out and fight differently. They're going to have to come out and fight differently than how they're fighting right now. You know what I mean? They're going to.
AOC's the only one putting up a fight. She's the only one.
They're going to have to come out and say things sometimes that are just that make people uncomfortable. They're going to have to come out and just be more forceful. I think that a lot of times people who are more progressive are seen as weaker. You know what I mean? They're seen as that because you have to almost like be politically correct. You have to, but I don't feel like that should be the way. I'm not going to be that way. If I feel like this is how I feel, I'm gonna say it. I don't care. I'm not saying how I say it. You look at the vice president right now, he's using words like you're a shit person, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. He's using it. You know what I mean? This is the vice president of the United States of America. That would never have happened 20 years ago, 10 years ago. That would have never happened.
Because you look at your presidency and the people up there, they're supposed to be like a reflection of us. But I mean, that's what's in there now. And I'm glad the politically correct stuff is gone. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I can say whatever I want to say without retribution, or, because America's got too soft. You've demasculated our men, you know what I'm saying, on certain aspects of life.
Why do you feel that way?
Certain words you can't say because they offend people. And it's not even the people that are offended by it. It's people. If you look at it, be like, why would you say that? I know somebody that would offend. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Fuck you and fuck them too. You know what I'm saying? Honestly.
So you feel like you should just be able to say whatever you want to say.
Say whatever you want to say. You're going to have to deal with the consequences of what you say.
That's the problem. You don't have to deal with the consequences of what you want to say. That's not true. Yeah. That's where it messes up everything out right there, is because there's no, okay, he said this, now you just got to take it. This happened and you just got to take it. You just got to go back. You're basically saying that we should be able to just have to go back and forth with each other, and a person just to be able to say whatever he wants to say with no consequences or no actions. And that's pretty much, when you look at it, what liberals do. A lot of people who are liberal do. They have the smartest possible mouth. They say this is what they always say that.
And then you say something back to them slick. I can't believe you said that to me. How dare you? I've seen it all the time.
And there's no repercussions and consequences for the actions. None at all. So that's what the problem is right there. We've allowed people to say anything and not have to have a consequence for the action, because they can believe I can go call the police, or I can, do whatever else, or I'm hiding behind a keyboard and there's no consequence. That's the problem. It's not that people are, I won't say that there's very much a demasculation going on in society. We've seen it.
They try to say, toxic masculinity. Be like, don't rope us in with the dudes that are violent, the dudes that treat women like shit. Like, because men have to be men. You know what I'm saying? I have me and my son, we get back out here, we're chopping wood, we're working on cars, we're doing manly shit. Excuse my language. We're doing manly stuff. And I'm gonna teach my son how to be a man. His little friends come over, I have them help me do stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't have fathers in their lives. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. You have to teach people to be men, because one side is doing it and one side's not. You know what I'm saying? And you can see it in the people. And a lot of women, they want men that are men. They don't. Women only want soft dudes when they get older.
I don't think they even really. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that part.
That's for Friday.
That's for Friday. That's definitely for Friday. But no, I get where you're going with this whole thing, man. I just feel like we're in for a time right now that it's going to be wait and see. Because I mean, a lot of his executive order, he just filling out executive orders for anything and everything right now, and he can't even do it. It's not even like you can't even actually do it by law. You don't have that power to do it, but it looks good. It sounds good. So when he does that, it puts it out into the atmosphere, and then they start working towards making it happen. Then you have to go in
the court.
Yeah, exactly. File a lawsuit. Now it goes to the court. Now they're trying to send it up. I mean, I hopefully Roberts has gotten Comey Barrett, and they've kind of sat down and talked. These are two Supreme Court justices who were one of them was Roberts was appointed by second Bush. Amy Comey Barrett was appointed by Trump. And hopefully they sat down and said, you know what? We see what this is doing to our country. We see where he's heading with this whole entire thing. We see what kind of how he's looking at where our country is going to be in the next couple of years. I mean, he's trying to turn us into Russia 2.0, pretty much. That's what he wants us to be.
And the thing is, if they see what kind of monster they created, if they can't rein him in, then their power is obsolete. And if the Supreme Court ain't got no power, you know what I'm saying? They're nothing. They're just 7 people that sit up there. You know what I'm saying? Acting like they've already went around the rule of law. And so that's why he's like, no, the court of law is above all. Da 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 da.
They're not letting that happen, man. I think that the other ones would probably. I think that Alito. I think that Thomas. I forget the other guy's name. They would all. I mean, they would go against him. Kavanaugh. They would turn around and be like, "Hey, hold on, man. You can't take away. You can't take away our power too. Now we up here for a reason. We're getting all these free trips. My mama got her house bought by the dude. She get to live there for free. I need to be able to do something for somebody, or else,
Once he's going to do it. I told you that. I said as soon as they go against something, because he thought they're just going to vote it with him for everything, but they're trying to, because at the end of the day, they got to look at their legacy and what they're going to leave behind, and then they got to live where they got to live. As soon as they go against too much stuff for him, he's like, you know what? The Supreme Court is crooked and rigged, and we need to get rid of it. We're not going to pay attention to anything they're saying. They've already said they're going to defy the judges. That's why he came out like, whoa, because the court, the law, the rule of law, and our Constitution is supposed to be higher than everything else. But he's going around the Constitution. You know what I'm saying? He's going around the court of law. He's like, I don't care. I'm going to get done what I want to get done.
Yeah, we've talked about this. I mean, JD Vance came out and said it. Hey, let do it. Let the courts rule on it, and then make them then do it anyways. After that, like whatever you say you're going to do it anyways, and then tell the court, hey, go ahead and enforce your law. Go ahead and enforce your rule, because they know the court can't enforce it. Nobody.
Nobody.
You know what I mean? Like he runs exactly, and that's kind of the way it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our town hall. Wesley, do you have any shout outs you want to send to anybody?
Definitely. Thank you guys for tuning in with us again for another town hall. Hope to see you guys again on Friday for the Friday Fix. Just thank you guys for our views, for everybody just who support the show. Thank you very much. Thank you again to my co-host DMAC for popping in with me and being able to hold these type of conversations.
Yes. Thanks to everybody that watches us and supports us. We're going to be here as long as they allow us to be here. And if they don't, we're going to put up like a radio wire and just do it the way we do. I appreciate everybody that supports us. Don't forget to come back every Sunday. Come and join us every Friday on the Friday Fix, and our continued coverage of the world that's affecting you and around you throughout the week as we keep progressing here. I'm DMAC Uno. This is Wesley, and this is the end of our Sunday Town Hall.